Good evening and welcome to your Monday edition of Real Talk with Anele on SABC 3. The stage is yours. Entrepreneurship is not the easiest road traveled, and sometimes just getting one's foot into the door proves to be the first of many challenges. Today we're going to hear from two successful business people who've broken into two of the sectors in this country that still lack so much transformation. CEO of Muteo Construction, Dr. Thandi Ndlovu, and CEO of Black Real Estate, Mbha, have a lot to share about their journeys, and they'll do that later on in the show. But first, it's a Monday, so of course we'll catch up with the weekend's activities. This past Saturday, millions of you, including me, opted to spend the night indoors to watch the 24th annual Summers. The likes of Boiti Tulo, Paul Moriarty, and Nomuzi Mabena put their best foot forward with their red carpet gowns. Ricky Rick caused a stir with his fashion ensemble that had plenty people creating their own versions of his outfit, and performers like Nadia Nakai, Rouge, who stole the show for me, and Shakana got people excited. As we know by now, the best thing about watching award shows is the Twitter commentary that it generates. Speaking of commentary, welcome to Real Talk, the guru of all things entertainment. Hello there, Bella. Do you know how many people on Twitter were like, we cannot wait for Phil and Anele?
I hope they're tuning in now.
Please, to dissect the Summers, Summer
Exactly.
24. Okay, first things first, I was entertained. I was very entertained. We'll talk about the quality and everything later, but at the very least, I was entertained.
Yeah, look, compared to years past, this year was a bit more entertaining than the. And the other thing that I loved is that this year was very dominated by women.
Yes, like I say, for me, Rouge's performance, I rewinded it 4 times. Huh?
You see, for me, Rouge performance, like, remember when Kelly Rowland came out and did that awesome performance? The people like, where was this girl all along? I didn't know that Rouge had
that little thing she did was such like, let's do it again. And then she's like, hey.
Exactly.
Hey.
I wish that she had a longer time to perform, but you know what? Hey.
But you know what? If I see that she's on a concert bill, I'm gonna buy tickets.
No, exactly.
I want to see her on stage again.
She just won a fan. Okay, cool. And Pops, I mean, the darling of the night, because I mean, his first time there, according to him, no, haven't been verified. His first time there, and the very first time he's not coming there as a guest, he coming there as a host, and he holds his own against this gigantic star and entertainer, Usomizi and Ulona and Udineo. And I'm saying, big up to you, my brother. You did a great job.
Okay, so I agree with you totally. And I think his links are stand out. The way it looked like he wasn't even reading a script.
Exactly.
He was just natural. But also, Mpho spends more time on stage than Dineo and Somizi put together.
Yeah.
Mpho's a comedian, and a very good one at that. Mpho is in the top 5 comedians this country has.
Okay.
So, so I'm glad that that wasn't put aside and diluted so that he could fit in with Dineo and Somizi.
Yeah, but having said that though, I still don't think that they needed 3 hosts. It looks disjointed. It looked like you had 3 different shows happening because Somizi has his Somizi thing. Do you know what I mean? Shampoo Dineo, like, you couldn't know, you couldn't like place her anywhere in between this poor thing that was happening where he was like your typical, award host with the jokes and, and then you've got Somizi with the entertainer, Razmatez, and then she was just somewhere in between, and sometimes I felt like she was trying too hard to keep up with the guys, but hey, you know what? It worked.
I think when there's 3 hosts, you have to rehearse a lot, right? Because in the absence of chemistry, put in rehearsal. Because if you do a show 10 or 20 times before it goes live, by the 15th time, the chemistry will happen. Because you'll be so comfortable in what you were supposed to say that you'll start ad-libbing and finding other people's strength. Because when you 3 of you are not the star. You must make the other person a star, and that person must make you a star, right? And I find that was lacking a bit for me. So when they stood alone, they shone.
Exactly.
But as soon as it was all 3 of them, I didn't quite like it. Because remember when Dineo was doing that
Yamandebele and whatever.
That was amazing.
That was cute.
And she was alone. It was what she wanted to project, and it worked. But as soon as they came together,
and did the Oma sketch or whatever it is that they were trying to do, that did not work for me. I'm sorry. But anyway, let's move on to some fun stuff that happened there. We're talking about the fashion, of course. I don't know much about fashion.
So don't kill us, but we are, who looked great for me? Obviously my sister, come on, she's my sister, it's Tembisa. I did like Boiti's dress. Yeah. What I didn't like is the fact that it was on the Miss South Africa stage a week before.
Oh.
Tamron Bench wore it.
Okay.
And luckily Tamron is built like Boiti, so they really look like the same person. Who else did I like? I loved Ricky Rick.
Okay, cool. I liked Pearl Mudiadia's dress. I wish it would have been a bit shorter.
That
It
was also
long.
on the Miss South Africa
Was
stage,
it?
by the way.
Clearly.
No Buhle wore it. Noxie wore it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like Pearl Mudiadia's outfit. I also like I forget
Loot Love.
Let's say Loot Love as well. But
Yeah.
here's talking about fashion and celebrities. That's another thing that I forgot to mention. There was lack of celebrity like clout and stature and the glamour thing of celebrity at the summers this year. I don't know what it is. Or maybe they just didn't want to walk the red carpet because it was too cluttered.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I like that. Like you could pinpoint a few people.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it wasn't like this glamorous celebrity event. You know what I mean?
I think it was bad PR, it was bad marketing, it was badly planned.
Yeah.
Because, you hype people up to the summers. If you were as a celebrity are constantly hearing about the summers, you plan a month ahead what you're going to wear
Exactly.
and you have it designed. And I don't think that was there. There was, you have to give people to prepare, to go and ask people to make them dresses, to go and get dresses sponsored if you're not going to be able to afford one. And there just wasn't any time
And the thing about
given.
the fashion and the red carpet, I mean, I'm going to keep on saying this every year. I don't understand why they're not listening and getting it right. Declutter the South African red carpets. There are just too many people on the red carpet that shouldn't be on the red carpet. Do you understand? You need to have people book time to be on the red carpet. You need to understand that Anele is going to be on the red carpet at 4. If Anele is not on the red carpet at 4, Anele is not working.
That's
Do you
very
understand?
true.
Only celebrities should be on the red carpet, not their designers and their stylists and their friends
And their
whatever.
publicists
Do you understand?
and the mayor and everyone
Exactly,
else.
because
I
now
hear
the
you.
clothes are not shining. The clothes are not shining. Even the Ricky Rick, hoo-ha, fashion, whatever. If you look at the pictures that came from the red carpet, there are shadows on his clothes. And
There are
there are
shadows.
shadows. You look so
That's right, there it is.
Exactly, you see that? That's in shadow.
But I'll always commend Ricky for being
Yeah.
brave. I'll always commend Ricky for not doing what a black man is supposed to do, not wearing what black men are supposed to wear. I always say fly the freak flag.
Okay, cool. I'm all about that. I'm all about flying the freak flag, but here's the thing that annoys me. It's like, when black people say that just because somebody speaks English, they think they're intelligent, but English is not intelligent. I feel like that about fashion as well. Just because this outfit was on some ramp somewhere in Paris doesn't make it.
So you don't like the outfit?
No, it
you
was
like
horrible.
the statement of it, but you don't necessarily like the outfit.
The statement I appreciate.
Okay.
I worry about, especially male celebrities in South Africa, they never make an effort.
Yes.
So my brother, big up to you. I appreciate that you're making an effort, and for that, big up. But I will not be coerced into liking that outfit simply because it was in Paris. I refuse.
Okay, we hear you.
Yeah. So let's talk about the production. Here's my thing about the South African Music Awards. You guys are on your 24th edition, and you make a point of letting us know that you're on your 24th edition. It's 2018. I do not expect that in 2018 you should be having these amateurish moments on your show. It makes no sense to me. Do you understand? If it means you have to fire the whole lot and get new people in, do that. Maybe innovation is what you need.
But guys, this production company keeps getting the job. I don't know why they keep, I'm not going to name them
Yeah.
because I like my money, I
Yes.
don't want to get sued, but they really just need to find someone else.
Exactly.
When you talk about opening the industry, open it from the entire production line. That production company has proved to us that they've done what they can do for us when it comes to the SAMAs
Yes.
and the SAFTAs. Thank you.
Give others a chance.
Give other people a chance. That's
Yeah.
what I believe.
I mean, like, look, a lot of people are complaining about having too many politicians there. This year, I didn't mind it too much because it was not like a lot of politicians giving speeches. I mean, you had the president there, it gave the event a bit of stature and all of that. But even that moment with the president, having the president have to stand on stage because somebody's not coming to take the award,
20
that
minutes,
is like
guys.
awkward and it makes no sense.
You have an issue with it because it's
Yeah.
bad for an entertainment stage.
Yeah.
I have an issue with it because it's a security breach. Citizen number one should not be that exposed for that long at an award show.
Exactly.
I loved him on stage. He was great, even when he fixed Natim Teta's mic.
Yeah.
It's a good thing he's got a great personality and
Exactly.
is a relatable guy, President Cyril. But I just felt like, guys, 10 minutes max for the president on stage, and then he must sit down or ultimately leave during the show. Do you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Just like as a parent, I'm here, I support music, I support arts and culture. I'll do better, when it comes to taking care of artists, but I'm out of here.
Cool. Another mention that I want to make that made trending news is Roy Malinga Jr. with his D&G sunglasses. Look, look, anybody who's willing to have fun, I enjoy it. But here's the thing that I come on, hey. he took over his father's Instagram account. Now, my question to you is, what do you think about that? Do you think that, is it appropriate or is it crass for him to be doing that?
Whoever is looking after Robbie Malinga Jr., please just stop it. It's too much. The kid is not getting a chance to mourn. He is being thrown with money.
Yeah.
It is almost like you can't be taking over a dead person's account. We followed your dad, not you.
Yeah.
And talent is not transferred by DNA, guys.
Ooh, okay.
And know his hard work, and know his ethics, and know his understanding the industry that you're in. Go and start your own Instagram account. We'll follow you there, my child. But to do that, I feel it's crass.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit eerie.
Yeah.
It's a little bit eerie.
Yeah.
Like, we've mourned him, he's passed away. You are a child. He's a child, guys. And I can get that you entertain, because South Africans, we like to be entertained by indoors out. He is a child.
Yeah.
He is 17 years old. Stop being enablers.
No, cool. Fair enough. I can't say anything to that. I think that's that's very, very, very clear. Okay, cool. So let's move on to a bit of a serious issue. Okay. The SABC has released a statement. Remember, you and I have spoken about this a couple of times,
Yes.
the issue of sexual harassment within the industry. And, you know, the call outside there has always been that what are the broadcasters doing?
Yeah.
You know, and it seems like the SABC has been working on something, and now they're willing to speak about it. So a little snippet from their statement, it says, the SABC has established two commissions of inquiries into editorial interference and sexual harassment. The public broadcaster said the inquiries were part of transforming into an accountable and responsive organization. Now, let me say this. Oh, okay.
No, say it quickly. Please, give it 30 seconds.
I think this is a great thing for the SABC. It's showing that they actually take this whole sexual misconduct thing very seriously, and I applaud them for it, and hopefully it will yield results.
What I have to say to that is, I remember one tweet sent by Luke Love about 4 years ago, and she said the sexual harassment in this industry is so strife, and if she had to name names, we would be heartbroken by the amount of men that we hold in high regard in the industry. South African darlings, she called them. She's like, you would be amazed at what the South African darlings do to us. Okay. So I am ready for it. I am ready for that. It's time. Look, it's always fun when Full Impela stops by. A big thank you to him for always keeping us entertained. Coming up after the break, as if it wasn't impressive enough that she qualified as a medical doctor, she then went on to launch one of the most successful black woman-owned construction companies in the country. Dr. Thandi Ndlovu is on the other side of the break. Goodbye. And welcome back to Real Talk with Anele on SABC3. The stage is yours. My first guest is a woman whose involvement in politics, the medical field, and construction is nothing short of astounding. Born in Soweto during the apartheid era, poised with many challenges for her, but she didn't just overcome her obstacles. She built a successful business empire in construction while improving the lives of tens of thousands of homeless South Africans. As a youngster, she spent years training within the ranks of Umkhonto Wesizwe. She found a mentor in former First Lady Anele Mdoda during her time in exile, which was in Angola as well as Zambia. Her commitment to serving people saw her taking care of a community of 200,000 in Orange Farm as a medical doctor before launching the Muteo Construction Group, which became one of the top 5 construction companies in the country. Get ready to be inspired by the 2013 winner of the Businesswoman of the Year Award in the Entrepreneurs category. Founder and CEO of Muteo Construction, she's finally here, Dr. Thandi Ndlovu.
Thank you very much, Anele, for being here and for the invitation, and thank you for your kind words.
Thank you for being you. Now, when you are you and you get 7 distinctions in matric, is there pressure on you from the family as a whole? By okay, this one is going to do wonderful for us.
Well, the distinctions were over the matric years, and before then, I was lucky enough to do what we called Form 1 and Form 2 in 1 year. And then I went on to get an overall distinction in my junior certificate. So that's where I got the overall distinction. Yeah, but Anele, I keep saying to youngsters, there was nothing magical about it. Yeah. Now I used to study. I would read. I would come back from school because I couldn't cook. My sisters were cooks. I would just make the fire and go to the library, walk to the library and study for 2-3 hours.
So you're not a genius,
No,
you're just a
there's-
hard
I
worker.
don't even know if there's anything called a genius. Maybe there's a bit of luck in being a
Yeah.
genius. Yeah, I'm a hard worker.
And when it comes to your children, is that what you're teaching them? It's like, listen,
Yeah.
nothing happens for itself. Even if you are talented, if you're not putting the hard work in, you're going to get nowhere.
I tell that to my children, I tell that to the kids in my business, to the staff in my business. Hard work. That's what reaps you the results.
But where do you learn this ethos? And I loved it so much when you said, you know, the biggest companies in China are the ones that incubate. They're the ones that take smaller businesses and, you know, take them under their wings and, you know, pump them with capital and help and knowledge and wisdom.
Yes.
And that's the only way you grow an industry. Now, I see that that's how you do your life with the youngsters in your business. You know, even if they are in there, but you're constantly training them. Where do you learn such a vital, you know, way to live?
I don't know, maybe as I grew up in Soweto those days, I grew up on a street that had the greatest of mentors. Professor Mokokong, Tommy was the first black CEO of a bank. He was the CEO of the Barclays Bank, no, FNB those days. And then we had a short street, but all of the people on that street were very impactful. And so, and I leave for exile, I'm age 21, I have no mentors, I've left them at home, and then I meet these fantastic mentors. Bo Awuzanele, as you've said, Uzlindi Mabuza, Megetru Chope, Uzbapra Masikela, the late Brahu. I mean, we had fantastic people who mentored us. They were big brothers and sisters. And so I suppose that had an impact in me coming back, starting my own business, realizing the youngsters in particular need mentorship. And right from the beginning, in 1994, when I created the business, I said, this is going to be a model for South Africa as to how you can empower young people by passing on skills. So I had this idea of what we call twinning. We still use it. You take a young engineer, black female, put them together with an experienced white engineer, male, and you tell him, you shall teach this youngster how to do stuff. And as a result of that, we've built very many successful businesses, smaller in size, but that we continue to use on our projects.
So what should I be looking for in a mentor? Because this conversation around mentors, it can get jaded really quickly because now I call you, Dr. Thandi, and say, can you please be my mentor? But at the heart of it, I just want you to tell me everything you know, put me in line with all your business contacts so that I can use them, and then I'm done. What should I be looking for when I ask you to be my mentor?
Typical example, if you, Anele, phones me, Dr. T, and I get hundreds of calls like that. Dr. T, can you be my mentor? I say, Anele, first of all, I'm not a celebrity. I wouldn't know how to mentor a celebrity. But you are in an industry where I don't know much about, especially television. Radio, I did a bit of radio in my previous life. I can, you know. But what I then do, and this is what I keep saying, especially to South Africans who have wide networks. I won't discard you. Okay, Anele, send me your CV, tell me what exactly you need, and then I try and twin you with somebody that I know, because I would assume I've got a wide network. So through mentorship, through twinning people that are in my network with people who are looking for mentorship, I have succeeded. And I think that that's something that we must think seriously about. Don't just agree I'm going to be a mentor when you don't even know the first thing about that industry. And as a mentee, just understand, find people who will be helpful for you to advance in terms of what you're doing.
So one of the things, I know you're not a celebrity, you wouldn't be able to help me, but one of the things I feel is so important when I look at your story for us black South African youth to know about is dealing with loss and not letting it cripple you, that it makes you bitter and jaded and non-productive, because you could easily have said, the first bullet at the June 16 uprisings killed my brother, Hastings Ndlovu, right? You could sit there and own that, and that's all you ever did. How did you go forward from that? Because I understand the family must have been devastated by that. So now as a whole, you have to go forward and you have to achieve like you have. How do you do that?
I think it's because once it's, in every situation I sit, I analyze what have been my drawbacks, what is stopping me from moving ahead. And in fact, when I look at my life, in a lot of instances, I have just pushed against barriers because I have refused to sit down. Typically, Hastings, we come home from Fort Hare, He's the youngest in the family. We love him to bits. We don't find the guy. We look for him. Almost 2 weeks later, he's buried on the 3rd of July. What do? I walk into the university on going back to Fort Hare, and I tell the other students, I mean, we can't sit here and lament the fact that the Boers are killing all these youngsters. We must do something. And I still remember the big mass meeting where they were asking me, oh, okay, yeah, lady in the yellow hat, because we were scared of the security police, so we were not identifying.
No names.
Yeah, I was wearing a yellow woolen hat.
Yeah.
So a lady in the yellow woolen hat, what do you think we should do? And I said, but the children in Soweto taught us what to do. And my last comments were, I am going to go out and to seek the liberation movement because these people don't want to listen anymore. And in my personal space, I acted. And so, back to your question, I just find youngsters in particular, I don't know, you know, Anele, sometimes I wonder whether this democracy has kind of given youngsters the lull and inactivity and waiting for government tenders and waiting for this, when the world of opportunities is there. So to answer your question directly, you get up and you just do it. And you find people like myself and the many of us. It's not just Dr. T who's mentoring and growing young people. There's lots of us. Find us. But don't send me what do you call it? Please call me. No.
Please call me. Hashtag mentor me.
Hashtag mentor me. No. It must be focused. And my appeal to people my generation and probably generation below me is that this country needs us to do exactly that. Pick up young people. That day I picked up 20 young people, orphans, in orphanages, who are, you know, the missing middle in terms of scholarships to universities and technicals, because nobody wanted to give them sureties. What did I do? I went to the Department of Social Development. I said, I've got a little budget, and today have managed through that foundation to educate 3 accountants, one who's doing a post degree in music, postgraduate, and there's a girl who's doing mathematics. She's in her final year at university. And all these are people who had no relationship with me. I didn't know them, but they were orphans. And I defined for myself what I want to do. So message about what to do is find a niche for yourself. I have a love for education, so I'll go and I'll say, well, I think I was a bright spark. I'm not looking for the bright sparks, because everybody's looking for bright sparks. I go and find these orphans. And it's amazing how, I mean, they've all just blossomed. In a few, maybe 1 or 2 years, we'll have 3 chartered accountants.
But I suppose you will blossom if you're in the right environment. So the key is also to create the right environment for all the blossoming to happen. Look, after the break, we found out how a hobby to improve people's homes led to her thriving construction company. Now, all of last week, we've also been telling you about your chance to win yourself a Huawei right here on Real Talk. Here's a reminder of how you can get yourself one of the P20 Pro Series phones. They're amazing.
Real Talk, Huawei and MTN are partnering up to celebrate the release of the new Huawei P20 series. The Huawei P20 Pro, the world's first triple Leica lens camera, is partnering with MTN, SA's fastest mobile network, to help you capture the best moments with your friends and family. We'll be capturing timeless moments and connecting with people in need, while giving you the chance to win the Huawei P20 Pro and 10 gigabytes free once-off MTN data. So tune into Real Talk for your chance to win.
And welcome back to Real Talk with Anele, right here on SABC3. The stage is yours. If you've got some spare change and are looking into acquiring property, then you should meet the founder of Black Real Estate, Mbha. Luckily for you, I have arranged a meeting for you where you'll get to know the story of this impressive businessman later on in the show. For now, though, we're still spending time with Dr. Thandi Ndlovu. She had spent the early years of her life going from South Africa to Angola, Zambia, even the USSR as part of her political responsibilities. By the time she came back to South Africa, she was a qualified medical doctor who found herself as a sole practitioner, seeing the needs of a 200,000 strong community in Orange Farm. Over a 5-year period, she would conclude what was the root cause making the community ill was, while unknowingly setting up her next career path in construction. So you're a doctor, right? You're a medical doctor, but here you are in construction. And that was passion. The fact that you were more than concerned. You just don't want to treat them. You wanted to stop them from getting sick.
Yeah.
So
Our training as doctors in Zambia, a very poor country, was focused precisely on that. Anele, don't treat the symptoms, go to the root cause of the problem.
yeah.
So I found when I come to South Africa, this is a wealthy country, but we're not teaching our people how to avoid illness.
Yeah.
So it was really by accident that I started working with the community in that semi-urban setting to say to them, look, women, you must take responsibility for your children. And the children, when they brought to me, I had a big thing like this, where I put all the worms in, worm infestations. When they bring me, doctor, here's a worm, and I put it there. So every time they come in, I treat the kids, but I tell them, this is the cause for the worm infestation. This is the cause of the pneumonia. This is the cause of the ailment that a child has. And it boiled down to the living conditions. So we sat with the women, and I tried to get them to access a government subsidy, which I didn't know how it works. So again, back to get off your butts, excuse the French.
No, please, we like
Get-
that here. You get off your butt, we like
and
that
do
here.
something.
Yeah.
So I said, let's get together, and we will do. By the way, my own practice had been built by the men in the community who were unemployed, who had worked for construction companies. And up to today, I mean, I challenge people, go and look at that thing still stands. 21 years later, it's solid, it's a business with a VVIP, there was no water and sewer, and the men in the community created this VVIP toilet. I had running water. Of course, I stole illegal connection from the municipality.
That's your Mkonto we see
That's
the start
my-
coming through.
that-
We
but-
forgive it.
But the bottom line is that I ended up working with those women, creating a model for
Yeah.
how poor people can build their own houses by accessing a government subsidy. That I went and investigated how it works. And voila, that's how Muteo was founded.
So we have a very big fan of yours who's actually very jealous that you're here.
Oh,
He's so jealous that he sent a video. So let's play this video. Hello, fan number one.
Hey, Ma. How you doing? Another TV interview, another TV appearance. So I go through the trouble of befriending Anele in hopes that I would be invited to her show. That never happens. I end up getting a call from her show, not for me to be on the show, but to get your number so that they can get you on the show. I'm kidding. I love you so much, Ma. Thank you for being the inspiration that you are. Thank you for churning me out into the man that I am. You're an inspiration to many, obviously including me and your other son, Kiabetsi, and I guess this is a shout out on his part as well. Keep doing you, keep making us proud, and give us the spotlight as well, Ma, please. Yo.
hey, my child, thank you so much, Anele.
Mama, give us the spotlight. You know, as South Africans, we find that we pick up mothers and fathers along the way because when you're honest with yourselves, we're not a country that just has two-parent households, you know, and we need to accept that. So when people like you sit on couches, I know the people who are watching, as much as you want to know about construction and, you know, the business, but we just want to know about, you know, the essence and your nature. What are you teaching your sons about love, about life, about business? Because we want to also take this information.
Sure, I'm still overwhelmed by that. That was a real surprise. About life, I teach my children that they must value life. And each day that you wake up, you must live your life as if it were your last. It doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor. I teach my children you must share. Whatever you are God-given, share it with other people. You share love, you share the gifts that God gives you. And so they know, my kids know, whatever I work for, it is not for them to inherit. So they have to work damn hard to get to somewhere. And as they go on with their businesses, I teach them ethics, integrity, the ability to sign on a document, hoping and handshake, and you go and implement what you've agreed to. And so I'm very proud that they have managed to build their own small businesses and prosper in terms of those values and ethics that I teach to them. But in general, as a human being, I just firmly believe in each human being touching the life of the next one. And a little bit surprised at how we can change the world. Sometimes I'm a golfer. I play golf. And when we get to the golf course, I hear people with huge cars parked outside. They're asking, how much should we give the caddy? And I'm like, hell no. Don't ask how much you give the caddy. You've come to play a round of golf. Please don't buy me drinks after the round of
Give
golf.
it to the caddy.
Give the caddy a minimum of 300 rand instead of how much do we give for caddies, and if it's 120, you give them 120 rand. So for me, those are the basic principles that I live my life along. And I encourage everybody to, because as you give, you'll be surprised how much in return you receive.
Because your hand's open, it's ready
Hands
to catch the
open,
next blessing.
Ready to catch.
Dr. Thandi Ndlovu, thank you so much for your time. By the way, your son is amazing. So you know how we act differently in front of our parents
I know.
and act differently
Yes.
when our parents are not there. Don't worry, that him.
Yes. Thank you
Sterling
so,
job.
thank you so much, and thank you
for
again.
that one. Thank you so much to Dr. Thandi Ndlovu. Coming up after the break, from helping out the most destitute through low-cost housing to indulging in your wildest dreams with stylish mansions. Thandi, founder and CEO of Black Real Estate, Titi Mbha, joins us next. Welcome back. This is Real Talk with Anele on SABC 3. The stage is yours. Now, walking the streets of Pimville, Soweto was about more than just taking casual strolls with his friends for our next guest. He was being captivated by the beauty of the big corner houses, which spoke and screamed affluence. That was when the seed for a career in real estate was planted. He defied his parents' wish for him to study law, opting to study art instead. Soon he'd be a qualified clothing manager, a combination of fashion design and business management. But he never forgot about the original dream. He became part of a group of companies called Black Brain Group, where real estate was a big component of their work. And in just 2.5 years, he's founded his Black Real Estate company. It's a pleasure to finally have on the show Tato Mbha. But you know, those who know him, they call him T.
Finally, that's the operative word. I've been dying to be on this show.
Okay, and now you're here.
And now I'm here.
And I want to go back to Soweto because your story speaks to so many young black children, right? Because
Yeah.
I remember we used to call a double story upstairs.
Yeah.
And that's all I wanted as a kid. All I was like, success for me means I live in an upstairs, right?
Absolutely.
And so these are the dreams you had walking down the street and you'd see these houses.
Right, so I had this passion of walking around the township,
Yeah.
what we call the hood.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated by corner houses. Because growing up Ekasi, it was a known fact that if you had a corner house, there was this perception that it meant that you are well off as a family, irrespective of your financial standing. And for me, it was, I think, a calling at the time that I didn't realize that it would actually become part of my passion and my purpose, which is what I'm doing now, just helping people to acquire property instead of just walking the streets.
And it's such a personal thing, property.
It's very personal.
I think it's the most, outside of who you marry and your children, property is...
It's the most personal. It holds a lot of sentiment to a lot of people. People get attached to the properties, obviously, that they live in. It's their heaven. And I get to have access to this personal space. It's incredible.
What process are you going through then if you're looking for a house for someone? You know, are you almost like the psychologist? You know?
You end up becoming one.
Yeah.
Because remember, the reason why people buy homes is either because they want to upgrade or to downgrade. Those are the reasons. So
And
someone,
that is a very big emotional
it's a
step.
big, yeah, someone is getting married, they need
Yeah.
a bigger space, or someone's getting divorced, they need to get rid of the current space. So you get involved in people's emotional spaces and what they're going through, and you have to be there for them beyond the sale. So for example, if someone is going through a divorce, you gotta be very sensitive to the fact that the two parties are no longer together and treat it with as much respect as you would people that are getting married, for example. So it's a very emotionally challenging
It draws you
game.
in. How do you keep yourself pure?
My business is based on 3 values: God, family, then business. Those are the three things that keep me going. So I know that I put God in front of everything. And then because I'm a family man, I'm more compassionate when it comes to my clients. I think that's the secret of my success, is the fact that I actually get involved with my clients. It's not even about the sale. It's about the relationship.
Have you always been like that?
I think I've always been like this. I think God has blessed me with this gift of people And that is my purpose.
Yeah.
And through this purpose and passion, I've got a profession.
Okay, so let's talk about God, right? You suffered a big scare when you got meningitis.
Absolutely.
You know, some people don't live when they get meningitis.
Absolutely.
You get meningitis on Thursday, Saturday, you're gone, right?
Yeah.
So did you feel like you were looking at him in the eye when that happened? Because this is prior to you getting into property, right?
This is the reason why I got into property.
Okay.
So meningitis got me into property. You know, when the doctor came and he delivered the news that I've been diagnosed with meningitis, I remember my daughter Tato was actually standing across with my wife, and they were told to move away from me because this thing is airborne. Now you can imagine the anxiety that I was going through of being separated from my wife and my daughter, because now everyone that had to come and visit me had to wear masks. It was probably the best 7 days of my life because it taught me to understand myself. I found myself. I always tell people, find yourself. Everything else can be Googled.
How do you find yourself? Without getting meningitis.
You stay true to your cause and you listen to your heartbeat. It's something that I've learned to master over the years, and so you carry it to the world as well. Be who you are and not be ashamed of what you believe in as well. But I think that experience taught me patience more than anything. I'm most patient than I was before I was diagnosed with meningitis.
7 days. What's the sentence that results in you saying, I'm going into property, that you say to yourself? You know, you're quarantined, people come in with masks, you have all this time to think, to question yourself, to lambaste yourself. Why were you doing this anyway when you don't like it, you know?
True.
Yeah, so what's the first question that comes, that opens the floodgates of truth?
I kept asking God, why me?
Oh.
Why me? Why do I have to go through this? But then at the same time, I asked myself, or I actually answered myself, if not me, then who? Am I a conduit to send out a message after this? And I think I am. Post those 7 days, I walked out of that hospital and I promised myself, and I said, dear God, allow me to enter this journey of real estate. It's a tough industry to be in, but with your support, I think I'll do well in the space. And 4 years later, I'm here.
And what's the first step that you do then to actively go into real estate? Do you tell your business partners, hey guys, let's do this?
Yeah,
I'll head it up.
That's actually the first thing that I did. I had a
Okay.
meeting with my business partners and I said, I've been postponing this. And these 7 days have allowed me to introspect and actually follow my dream and my purpose. Then I did a lot of research around the space. I probably spent a good 6 months just researching the environment, weighing up my options. And then I decided this is time for me to jump. The first thing obviously was the name, creating the name, Black Real Estate. Sounds so good. I feel proud to actually always say I'm a CEO and founder of Black Real Estate. And it's got nothing to do with color or race, by the way. Because a lot of people used to give me flack for that. Are you being racist? Are you only servicing black people? And my answer to that is, I'm not ashamed to service the interest of my people first.
Yeah, yeah.
Other races are doing it.
But when you go to your business partners and you tell them this idea, don't they like look at each other like, wow, la, la, la.
They hated it.
Okay.
They hated it. They said to me,
They're like,
"Are you
meningitis
okay?"
says this
Yeah,
is-
the meningitis, I think you might need to go back. But, you know, I was adamant,
Yeah.
and I was sure of it. I prayed about it, and I was ready to get into the space that is a monster called real estate.
And this monster just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. In his own words, TT has said that one of his dreams is to sit down for dinner with President Donald Trump. Now, how exactly would that conversation go? He'll tell us after the break. But for right now, maybe one of your dreams is just to upgrade to a new phone. Yeah? Well, you can with Huawei, as they give you a chance to win one of their P20 Pro series. Have a look.
Real Talk, Huawei and MTN are partnering up to celebrate the release of the new Huawei P20 series. The Huawei P20 Pro, the world's first triple Leica lens camera, is partnering with MTN, SA's fastest mobile network, to help you capture the best moments with your friends and family. We'll be capturing timeless moments and connecting with people in need while giving you the chance to win the Huawei P20 Pro and 10 gigabytes free once-off MTN data. So tune into Real Talk for your chance to win.
And for the last time this evening, welcome back to Real Talk with Anele on SABC 3. The stage is yours. Mbha. You can just say that word and just like stop, like Mbha. Listen, he's had his sights on being on the cover of Forbes International magazine one day. Well, he's already gotten off to a good start. If you think about it, he's been featured on Destiny Man as well as estatemagazine.com. What a pleasure it's been to get a glimpse into how the mind of this real estate maverick works. As we get ready to wrap things up, let's find out what dinner with Donald Trump would be like for Mbha. I get it. He's in real estate, you're in real estate. You know, he may be a terrible president, but he's a good property maverick.
A good businessman.
Yeah.
He's got a good head on his shoulders. And I just want to pick his brain. I mean, I've been to New York quite a few times. And my first time that I actually I went to the Trump Towers just to get the aura and just to get the sense of this guy could be here. And fortunately for me, he was actually leaving with his entourage, but I obviously didn't get a chance to meet him. But I'd love to just pick his brain because I've always had this vision of starting the Mandela Towers across different countries in Africa, and it's gonna happen.
Nice. What does one need to be in real estate on the level that you are, on the level that you want to be, right? What do you need?
Well, besides the basics that everyone will tell you, hard work and whatnot, I read a lot. I read a lot. I probably read 2 books a month. I read 2 chapters a day, basically. And I just equip myself with general knowledge about the space, the industry, and things that are general in and around. So you had Dr. T earlier on, and she's in construction. So I obviously do a lot of business dealings with people in construction, architects. I work with a lot of people in the real estate business. So I'm not just a typical agent that just sells houses. I actually get to work with different industry players who are experts in real estate. And that keeps me going.
Yeah. I appreciate the fact that you're kind, but also appreciate the fact that you can ruffle our feathers. For instance, your take on renting, right? You've gotten into many a debate about this, where black people are like, but I can't afford a house. What must I do now? You know, transfer costs, all of it. What's your philosophy on that? And why is it your philosophy?
First of all, I do not do rentals in my business.
Yeah.
I do not believe in rentals. I believe that if you can afford to rent at a particular amount, you can afford to buy at a particular amount. It's just that people have got aspirations that are beyond their pockets. And that's as simple as that. And I try to teach them that if you can afford to pay a rent for 15,000, sure I can find you a place where you can pay a bond for 12,000.
But what about the nitty-gritties that come with owning property? I mean, transfer costs can easily cost 400,000. The amount of us who've got 400,000 lying around, it's slim to nothing.
Absolutely, but it's all about lifestyle management, Anele. A lot of people are living beyond their means. And a simple thing as managing your finances, a lot of guys will get paid very well, but their expenses don't match their income. And as a result, they spend money buying cars and clothes and whatnot. It's all about your choice of, do you want to create legacy for yourself or not? And I just don't think renting is a legacy builder for anyone.
Have you always believed that, or did something happen to make you believe that?
No, I've always believed that. In fact, when I was in varsity, my uncle paid for my rent for the first year, and I didn't stay there. I got someone to rent, and I made money from that. And with that, I was able to actually save enough to start buying the second property. It's just the way I think.
Hey now. Okay. Okay. No. So the mind
it's a
is
mindset.
there. Yeah, the
it's a mindset
is
and it's attitude. I think I've got a very positive attitude about any situation. If you think about the word attitude, it's the only word that if it had to be turned into a number, the sum of equals 100. Try it.
I was in standard grade.
Okay.
You know, many musicians will sit here and I'll ask them, where were you the first time you heard your song play on radio? Because that's a big definition of success when you're a musician. And for you, I have to ask you, where were you the first time you sold your first property?
Oh my goodness, I was in Sandton. I got excited. It was a messy transaction for me. It was my first one. I actually lost a lot of money because I was still fresh in the industry. Yeah. I didn't understand the ins and the outs. But just to get that first paycheck for me was, I can do this. It's possible. And that opened doors for other transactions and bigger sales. Of course, I mean, I've even managed to open some offices in the US. And through that journey, we were able to grow. But what I love about my journey is that it's not my journey alone. I bring others along. It's important to incubate others into your journey. Otherwise,
what Dr. Thandi was saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. The power is in the numbers. The power is in the numbers.
And my very last question to you, so I can go home and replay this conversation in my head. Why is your best friend your best friend?
Why is my best friend? Because they understand who I am, because they support my vision, and they believe in my dream, and vice versa. It's a two-way road, and that's why they're my best friend. That's my wife, by the way.
Okay, and what is the forgiveness? It's still the same question. What's your forgiveness equation, you know? How much do you center your life around forgiveness?
I forgive easily because I don't want to hold the burden of your faults.
Ooh.
It's not on me, it's on you. So I release you. If you know what you've done, you know what you've done.
You know what you've done. And do you find you have to forgive a lot in business?
All the time.
All the time.
That's why I always say I'm a compassionate entrepreneur.
Compassionate entrepreneur. And on that note, a big thank you to Titi Mbha. Full stop. Also, a big thank you to Dr. Thandi Ndlovu, as well as our resident entertainment guru, Mbha, for spending the hour with us today. Tomorrow on Real Talk, I am so excited. Yo, guys, I'm here. She was born to a domestic worker mother, got adopted by the Jewish family that her mother worked for. Rosie Mutene is sharing with us all of the complexities of her childhood and adulthood through her memoir, Reclaiming the Soul. She's written a book. I'm going home to read it right now so that we can all talk about it tomorrow. She'll be here from 6 until 7 on SABC 3. We'll check you out then. From myself, Anele, and the rest of the team, good night. Isidingo's up next.